waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon.
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
What?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with...
I have very hazy memories.
I know.
Well,
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. Because there's no gravity. And I'm a diver, a scuba diver, and when you get down underneath the water, you're floating. And that's just like in space until you start to move, and then you make waves or...
Zoe, what do you say?
Thank you.
You are very, very welcome.
Mr. Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear in the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Gentlemen.
Mr. Sibrel.
Yes? If you really walked on the moon, why would you not do that? So why don't you just put the into the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Sibrel, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
Really? Well, no, it's a real Bible. You have the opportunity to have $5,000.
The meeting is not open.
Well, you have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. So why don't you put your hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon?
Mr. Sibrel, you do not deserve answers.
Russia is hosting the World Cup, and maybe the next venue could be space. For World of Sports, Regina Ham, RT America.
Okay, here we have Russian astronaut Anton Shkaplerov, which they call them cosmonauts in Russia. But anyways, this is the same guy that you're seeing right here. Now, those of you who didn't see it, I'm going to slow this down for you so you can see it. Notice as he headbutts the ball, right as he goes up about right here, his head disappears, his face disappears. And the reason that that happens is because that whole background is a green screen. Now, those of us who know about green screens and know how they do this trickery, you guys probably seen it the first time I played it. But just in case you have cognitive dissonance, I'm going to slow it down ×3 so you guys can see this one more time. And when you watch this on the news, you don't really catch it. But all you got to do is go and look up some of these NASA videos and slow them down, and you can see this stuff. Now, what happens here is he goes beyond the boundary of that green screen. And what happens here is that causes him to fade out because we're looking at two different scenes put together as one. He's in one room, and what you see in the background is filmed somewhere else. And then the green screen is put into play, which brings both scenes together. Anyways, these people are not in space. It's time to wake up.
Let's see if you have any imagination left in that brain of yours. And pretend this is all the water in the world. This is the 71% covered earth-filled pond, all the water of the world. So let's just say this is trillions upon trillions of gallons. You've got the continents, the islands in the middle. In the center, where all compasses point, you can circumnavigate, circle the lake or the pond left or right. But as you venture outwards towards the banks, towards outer space, what happens? Once you pass that 60th degree parallel and you hit the ice wall, the ice cliff of Antarctica, what happens? Do you fall off the edge? Is there an edge here?
Is there an edge here?
Because we know the physics of water is to find and maintain level if you've been paying attention. And also, water must be contained. It is contained. We climb up the banks and we keep going outward, southward. What happens to their control when millions of people travel
Beyond the 60th parallel.
They knew this was going to get out. They knew people were going to wake up. What if Star Wars is true? What if this extraterrestrial, these extra terrains, they're telling us the truth, minus the vacuum of space, because they got to put a Hollywood spin on it, don't they? Star Wars, Star Trek. What if you Globers can have your Star Wars and your Star Trek at the same time? Isn't that awesome? How does that make you feel?
The timeline goes as follows. So in 1955, Operation Deep Freeze starts. And when Admiral Richard Byrd gets back, he comes on live television and tells us he found more land, the size of North America. They quickly start NASA. President Eisenhower calls over the Nazi traitors, Operation Paperclip, to start the upper space mind control program. Don't look out there, look up here. Look, everybody, we're going to the moon. Then, in 1959, 12 nations started the Antarctic Treaty, followed by 42 more nations where they have decided you or I cannot travel or explore any part of Antarctica south or past the 60th parallel without military clearance, without the aid of a guided tour. Do you really think that this is just a coincidence?
I'm Don Pettit. I'm a NASA astronaut, and I'm on the International Space Station. We're currently about 240 nautical miles above the surface of Earth. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Okay, as you can see here with the naked eye, we can't see the boat. But watch what happens when we take a telescope or a camera with a good zoom lens. The boat comes right back into view. It didn't disappear over a curved body of water. It's right there, and it'll always be right there, with plenty of ocean right behind it. Now let's pan back out to our regular eye vision. And about right here, we can't see the boat anymore. It looks like it went over a body of curved water. Same thing right here. No boat. You can't see the boat. But watch what happens when we zoom in with the telescope. The boat comes right back into view, proving that the boat does not go over a body of curved water. This guy is lying to you. Science is lying to you. Now, this guy is a world-known physicist, and I just proved him wrong. You can think whatever you want to think, but I just showed you evidence. He's a liar.
We thought Earth was flat before we had seagoing vessels that went beyond the horizon, recognizing that there has to be a curve.
Imagine how any human being in his proper senses can believe that the sun is stationary when, with his own eyes, he sees it revolving around the heavens, nor how he can believe that the earth on which he stands is whirling with the speed of lightning around the sun when he feels not the slightest motion.
bubbles in space, you can literally see bubbles coming up from these astronauts' helmets. It's ridiculous. When I saw it, I was like, this is a joke.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, often on the outside of the space station, you'll liberate little pieces of, it's a really harsh environment out there, and the outside of the space station gets beat up pretty good. And sometimes, you'll see just little flecks of paint or something that you might have disrupted floating away from the suit. And, that's generally what that is. I've never seen any kind of air bubble anywhere.
Yeah. Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out there? All right, well, I just encourage everyone to look up Bubbles in Space, hashtag Bubbles in Space. Thank you very much.
How's Bubbles in Space doing?
How's what?
Bubbles in Space.
Bubbles in space?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
No? You Mr. Kelly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You don't remember the question from Tampa about the bubbles in space coming up from the helmets? Yeah, you guys are in an underwater pool, remember? We know. Just remember.
What's up, man? Can you sideline those hashtag Bubbles in Space?
Hashtag bubbles in space?
Bubbles in Space, brother. What's your word on that?
What is that?
Yeah, you were asked that 2 times in the past couple months, actually, about bubbles coming out in the spacewalks.
Oh, you're that guy.
I'm not that guy. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna write that.
And then,
thank you so much.
There you go.
Astronauts on harnesses as well. Anything to say about that?
Do I have anything to say about it?
Yeah.
I have anything you want me to say about it. What do you want me to say?
Whatever your thoughts are. I just want your honest opinion.
About what?
There's video evidence of guys hanging from harnesses in the International Space Station.
Sir, we need to keep going. There's a very long line. Thank you so much. Can you please step forward? Thank you so much.
How about
please step forward,
selling a book of pictures with taxpayer money? How about that?
Thank you so much.
Taxpayer money?
These were all on taxpayer dime, wasn't it? Not this one, but the picture book.
Come back over here. You know what you can do? You can sell the same pictures yourself because they are public domain. Absolutely.
They should be free to the taxpayers.
They
is
are
what it
free.
is. Why are you selling it for $40?
You can do whatever you want with them.
Well, you're doing it just justice by ripping off the taxpayers.
Hey, you know
what
what?
you're doing.
Hey, thanks for coming.